Welcome to the MBA50 video series. I'm at the IE Business School in Madrid with Will Davis and Susan Friedell, MBA students here in the program. Will, Susan, thanks very much for being with us. Can you just share a little bit about your backgrounds before getting to business school? Susan.
I studied Spanish and international relations in college at Brown University, and then began teaching. And I taught Spanish for 4 years in the United States before coming here to Madrid, where I got a master's degree in Spanish and then was teaching English for 4 years at many different levels of the educational system here. And my last position was actually working as a teacher trainer for Middlebury College, which is an American university that has programs here. And I was coordinating a professional development program that they offer for Spanish teachers of English, and
right.
So that was my most recent job.
So you got to skip all of the Spanish classes before starting the MBA program, right?
Yes.
Yes. What about you, Will?
Well, I started in the Spanish classes because I needed it, but my experience was a little more traditional. So I worked with Target Corporation, a large retailer in the U.S., and in a bunch of different roles there. And prior to that, I studied English literature and history, which I guess is a little bit of a non-traditional piece to my background, but that was one of the reasons why I wanted an MBA, is to kind of fill out the gaps in my past as it relates to things like financial accounting and quantitative analysis. So
right, so sort of humanities and languages, and then consumer marketing. Why go back to business school?
You know, it's a great question. I think, it's one of those things that appears on every essay. My answer today is probably a little different, actually, than what I would have said a few months ago. I think the reason I wanted to come to business school is because I wanted to explore things like entrepreneurship and see a new culture, and the diversity that IE, offered was really exciting. And that was specific to IE, not necessarily to business school in general. But I think after being here for a few months, I think the answer is a little different, and that's that it's one of the best opportunities you have to take an introspective look and figure out whether or not maybe some of your assumptions about what you thought you were going to be interested in are affirmed or disconfirmed. And in kind of an exciting way, you get to see all kinds of new industries, meet people who worked in very different kinds of jobs, study cases in very different kinds of industries and companies. And so, I think the best thing about business school, and I guess the new reason, is that it definitely opens up the world in a way that you can't really be ready for. Mm-hmm. I think that's probably the biggest reason, or the best part about business school so far.
Right. Now, Susan, you'd already crossed the Atlantic and were here, but why a business school in Europe?
Well, I felt like I had reached a point in my teaching career that I wasn't really going to be making much more progress in terms of what I would be able to do. And I wanted to sort of take a different path towards perhaps a different role in the education field. And it seemed like, business school would be just a really good opportunity to meet new people with different backgrounds and different experiences, and just be exposed to new ideas and sort of, there's a job in this aspect of education or publishing, or maybe even in a multinational corporation that would be appealing to me. And so that was my initial thinking, which I think still is holding true for me.
Right. Do you feel that what you're learning in the classroom is applicable to the US economy, or indeed anywhere in the world?
I think one of the trends, and it's almost like a cliche to say it, but I think that the connectedness of everything that's happening now, I mean, if you look at what's on the front pages in Europe is kind of mirrored in the US at this point. And, I think, in my opinion, there's nothing about a business school experience here that seems decidedly European. Now, it's easy for me to say that without the relativity of going to two different schools simultaneously, but to me it just seems like it's very much a business school experience, and it just happens to be in Madrid. So to me, I think the culture and the European piece comes when you step outside of the classroom, but I think in the classroom it seems to me to be very much distinctly a business school.
Right, this is the place where you can work on a case study till 1 o'clock in the morning, and there's a bar that's still open for you, right?
Right.
So,
with food.
Yeah. As one of Europe's top business schools, of course, it's a very competitive school to get into. Do you have any advice for other young professionals applying?
I would say to really do your research and come to visit the school if possible. I had the benefit of being here in Madrid, so I walked by here almost every day. But I think it's really important to come and to get a sense of Madrid or any other city that you're thinking about going to, especially if it's not in your home country. And then talk to as many people as possible, both within the institution and outside, graduates.
I think my advice to anybody applying to an MBA program is to really understand what it is that you're actually going to bring and how that might be different. And I think what's great about IE is that probably more so than many schools that I'm aware of, they legitimately value the different kind of value. And so I think, I wouldn't be shy about having a background that's not necessarily consulting or banking. We have all kinds of people, former entrepreneurs, former English and Spanish teachers. So, it's just a very different experience, but I would just think real hard about, I guess, whatever you want to call your brand and how you're going to communicate what that is and how you're going to contribute to the class. And, I think from there you just kind of let IE decide whether or not that's the kind of background that's going to be different and contribute and build up the learning environment.
Both of you, thank you for your openness and thoughtfulness and for sharing the time for the interview.
Thank you.
Thank you.